Welcome to the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. I am Joanna Chadwick of the Wichita Eagle and VarsityKansas.com, and we are taping here at KSN. My guest this week is Heights baseball coach Jeff Topping. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about your team. You're sitting here at 7-1. You've got Capon on Thursday night, another City League matchup. Talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing well and who's really playing well.
Well, we have 6 seniors that have really been playing well. They've all stepped up this year with the leadership role. And we've been pitching, playing great defense. That's kind of what we pride ourselves on, is pitching, playing great defense, and timely hitting. But I've been, really happy with Josh Farrington and our catcher James Smith and our shortstop Brett Carroll at third base and pitching wise. But all of our seniors have contributed, to our whole team's atmosphere and our 7-1 record.
Well, and Josh, he opens the season, pitches a complete game win over Bishop Carroll. Is he just kind of one of those guys you can count on?
Yeah, Josh is just a bulldog. He had great stuff that night. He was throwing 3 pitches for a strike, and he faced a very good Carroll hitting team, and they're really well coached. But Josh is not going to give in. He's just going to come at you, and he's going to throw hard, and he's going to just come right at you. And he did a great job against Carroll, and he ended up beating him.
Well, he's a guy that's going to be kind of overlooked too, because when anyone talks about the Heights pitching staff, we're talking Keelan Kilgore. And so, and understandably so, Keelan is headed to Wichita State. He's only a junior, but Josh, does he like that role maybe a little bit?
I think he does. Our mentality is we're going to throw Keelan first and try to get the first win, and then we're going to bring Josh in the second game, and we're going to let Josh play shortstop the first game and have his arm rested for the second game, and then he can go out and do what Josh does. But when you talk Heights pitching right now, you're talking Keelan Kilgore and Josh Farrington, and those two are the mainstay of our pitching staff.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about, you faced Carroll in your very first doubleheader of the year. You guys split, and the first game was close as well, which was a loss. But talk about having to face this team, which is a very strong team. How much do you two push each other?
Well, it prepares us right off the bat. We had to get ready for a great team. They're well coached. They have great players. They have a good catcher in Taylor Sanagorski. But we found out where we were at right away. In the first game, we lost 5-4. It was 1 base hit away from maybe being a sweep. In the second game, Josh threw a great game, and we didn't really score but 2 runs, but we won 2-1. So it teaches you where you're at, and it lets you know what you need to work on for the rest of the year. And it is really regional baseball right out of the chute.
Well, and it's frustrating, though, because with the way baseball is set up, it's basically like you have 1 game at them. I know it's a doubleheader, but here's 2 of the top teams in the City League playing each other in the first week, and then it's like, okay, that was huge. If you get swept, good luck winning the City League again.
Yeah, we faced them our first one. We played 10 dates, and they're our first on our schedule, and our kids are really up for it. But anybody can beat us if we don't come to play throughout the year. But we just tell our kids, hey, we weren't going to lose the state championship or the City League title on day 1. But we weren't going to win it either. So what we had to do was go out and play consistent baseball, play fundamental baseball, and just see where we were at, and that's a good, measuring point for our team.
Well, and you guys being in 5A this year too, dropping down, of course, you've known about this for a while, but how do you prepare now for a bunch of teams that you really don't know outside of a Carroll and a Capon?
It's a lot harder. We were out scouting. We're going to scout tomorrow night. We've had to see every 5A team in our regional. Where before, we played everybody we saw. We had pitching charts, hitting charts. We knew the coaches. We knew their tendencies. But being in 5A this year, we're totally new. We have to go out and see these people, and it kind of puts us behind the 8 ball because we're so busy trying to prepare for our City League schedule. At the same time, we're trying to go out and see what is out there in our regional.
Yeah, that's just a totally different situation. All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about spring weather. When we talked earlier, you had mentioned that Garden City, you'd play them in the early part of the year, but you often would face snow, right?
Right, yeah. We used to play Garden City the first game of the year, which was nice because then we could get in the City League schedule, and we had 2 games underneath our belt. But it's so cold out there, and we played in snow last year out there, and we just agreed with their coach staff, our coach staff, that, hey, we'll move that back a little bit so the weather is better in Garden City or in Wichita. But then, that makes us start with Carroll right off the bat, and the first 3 or 4 weeks of baseball season are pretty nasty, and it's pretty hard.
Well, and how much flexibility do you have to have just for getting the guys physically ready and mentally ready for a game that could be postponed or having 3 dates in a week? Yeah,
we have to be very flexible, and we have to be very cautious with arms. We do a lot of bullpens inside or hitting inside or running inside. If the temperatures are really bad outside, we won't risk anybody getting hurt because all it takes is one bad day to be thrown outside and you can ruin an arm for life. So we do a lot of indoor practice, outdoor practice. We might go out for 25, 30 minutes and throw a long toss and then come in and do our infield work or our hitting or something like that. So you have to be flexible and you have to have a great practice plan. And no coach likes going inside. The kids are bouncing off the walls when you're inside, but we'd all rather be outside, but we got to do what we got to do.
All right, let's talk about some of the top kids in the area. You had mentioned Taylor Sanagorski from Carroll. We talked about Jared Gates from Wichita Northwest. I want to talk to you about Keelan Kilgore, who, again, has committed to Wichita State. What makes him that special kind of pitcher?
Well, I think he's just real polished. He can throw a fastball at 83, 84 miles an hour. He'll hit 85, 86 once in a while, but he's consistent at 83, 84. He has a great curveball and he has a changeup. And when guys get on base, he has a great move. It's a coach's dream to have a kid like him because it's kind of a day off when he's on the mound the first game, because he's going to be in control, he's going to be around the zone. But he's very, very polished as a high school kid. You usually don't see that, as a junior. So.
Well, yeah, and he played like that last year as a sophomore too, didn't he?
Yeah, he played in the best teams in the summer growing up around Kansas. His parents took him. They traveled a lot, so he's seen good competition. But yeah, he's very, competitive, and he hates to lose, and he always wants to be first at anything we do.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to talk about your team. I appreciate it. Good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for joining me on the VarsityKansas.com show. I sure appreciate it. The big show is near and dear to my heart. We will be back next week. So make sure to join me for my live chat. You can contact me in any way on Twitter at Joanna Chadwick or on Facebook, Joanna Chadwick, Varsity Kansas. Have a great week.